right now. He does have the army advantage at this point, 134 to 120 to supply. He is going to just fall back and expand behind this. This is very wise. If you're ahead, just get more ahead. I don't think he can actually engage at the front of TLO's base. He could maybe push forward and force a small engagement, but he cannot just simply walk in here, because one does not simply walk into TLO's base. That is a fact. And props to everyone who got that reference. But Grubby will be actually pushing to the fourth base. I like this. Force this base to actually float away. Might even be able to kill it. Unfortunately, TLO does have two more command centers to actually fall back on. This command center is actually burning away, but it will get repaired if one SCV can manage to actually make its way down here. A lot of units by TLO managing to push this away, and will this command center fall? I don't think it will. One SCV finally going there to repair it, and it will get landed here, and that fourth base will start mining by TLO. Meanwhile, Grubby's fourth base is almost done. Storm is now done, along with the weapons level 3 halfway done, and Protoss ground armor level 2. TLO's upgrades are 2-1 as well, but with Chrono Boost, Grubby will get the upgrade advantage. That is the best thing about Chrono Boost, is getting those upgrades so fast. I mean, 1 second you're facing a 0-0 Protoss army, and in the next engagement suddenly he's 2-1, and you don't know how that happened. So really, TLO has to struggle to keep up with the upgrades. But he is doing a decent job at this point. 2 more medevacs going to be able to fly at the top position. I guess he suspects there is an expansion up here. Unfortunately, he will look there and see nothing. He is stimming quite early at this point. Just to get there faster, he will be able to force a cancel on the fifth base by Grubby. He is saving this base for as long as he can. There it goes. There's a cancel. And TLO, I love this because, once again, that is free damage. I mean, he did not lose a single unit. He will be able to load this up, go back inside his main base, but he has to be careful because there is Blink here, and I spoke too soon. Grubby being able to intercept this, so really a little blunder here by TLO, but meanwhile he is going to counterattack the main base. Grubby's entire army is out of position. He will be doing a huge amount of damage in this engagement, but Grubby really wasn't that far away. A nice storm on the entire army, and Grubby 191 to 148 from TLO. TLO's plan is backfiring on him, and really 197 to 143 supply. What can you do at this point? I mean, Grubby is maxed. He has the gold base. He has everything going for him. He is going to start racking up a trust fund for his zealots and being able to remax as fast as he can. He is getting a Dark Shrine that just finished, so he will be able to harass while he does this straight up push into the third base of TLO, sending a few zealots to actually hack away at these SCVs. Look for that SCV work and kill tap to actually even itself out. 17, 18, 20, you cannot even count that fast. 27 harvesters killed, 48, 270 harvesters for Grubby. Huge storm doing almost the maximum amount of damage on this fireball, and TLO is looking in a world of hurt. I wonder how will he manage to actually come back in this, if it's even possible. Wasting a storm there, not doing anything, but who cares at this point. 3 base Terran, which has his main and his natural mined out, versus a 4 base Protoss that is still mining from 2 bases, one of which is actually a gold base. I mean, Grubby is just looking so good in this matchup. I mean, I think this is going to go 2-2 into a 5th game. Grubby might actually want to Blink on top inside the main base. If he does manage to do that, that will be huge, because there is no way that this small bioball will be able to walk up this ramp. But he decides to actually engage at the bottom of the ramp here. Not the best place to engage, but at this point, who cares? Grubby can just throw away units and remax so fast. In the production tab, you can actually see 3 more gateways going up. There are, that is 7 and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 gateways. So Grubby once again being very heavy on those gateways so that he can remax so fast. That is going to enable him to actually warp in 14 zealots at the same time. 14 because one extra gateway is going up here. Grubby once again is almost max, gonna push out at the 4th base, and I love this once again because that is just a small bio ball there, and if he can deny this 4th base forever, I mean, he will just starve TLO to death, and there is nothing TLO can actually do about it. This Colossus is actually not in the best place. Blinking back, Grubby will force this army from TLO to actually walk up the main walk off to the 3rd base. TLO trying to get a flank with a handful of units there. Grubby is back against the wall, so he will actually have to engage this. He is trying to retreat here, but might not be the best retreat avenue. These Colossus will absolutely go down, and TLO is actually coming back in this game with that sweet engagement. And TLO, despite being 109 to 131 supply, has managed to actually whittle down Grubby's forces and even out the supply at least a tiny bit. He does have a lot of supply, a lot of command centers, so he will be able to fly this one down to his 4th base once again and retake that. That is a lot of mules as well. He does have 4 mules, but he is very mineral starved. He has a lot of gas at this point. Meanwhile, Grubby is just able to reinforce this so fast. You can see he's already at 151 supply. Just a second ago he was at 126. Now he's 163. So once again, Grubby, even though he lost that engagement, he is looking so good. He has a base at the top, on the north side of the map. He has this 5th base mining. This 3rd base is almost mined out, but he can transfer all his workers to that 4th base. He has 76 harvesters to only 32 from TLO. TLO mining from 1.5 bases at this point because this one is almost mined out, but throwing down a lot of mules at this 4th base is actually able to push ahead in the income tab. That is amazing. That is showing you the power of the mules. And another engagement here. TLO just barely not getting armor level 3 before this engagement. I feel like he could have waited just a tiny bit more, maybe pull back his forces, get a better surround. So Grubby actually pulled ahead a lot in that engagement, and since he is the player that is maxed out, that is hurting TLO even more in that engagement. I wanted to say doubly hurtative, but I don't think that you can actually say that. So please someone tell me how to say that. Meanwhile, a few cloaked ghosts going to be able to snipe the High Templars. So a little victory, small victory here by TLO. Those snipes are fairly cheap, and I mean those High Templars, if they get some good storms on this bio ball, they can actually ravage everything. But once again, Grubby is able to max out so fast. I really feel like he should throw down a couple of Archons in this mix. I guess he's just waiting for the storms. And once again, a nuke from TLO, and I love nukes. I mean, if you are gonna come back in this game, nukes are one way of doing it. If you can manage somehow to nuke this army, that would be huge. But nukes are so hard to actually get down on an army because most players are very aware of that single little red dot. And what you need to do is actually double nuke at 2 different locations at the exact same time so that your opponent can't actually know that there are 2 nukes going on because he only hears one of that one nuke warning, so he suspects only a single nuke. But put that thought on hold. We are getting another engagement here. The Colossus are in front, so not the best engagement by Grubby. He is forced to pull back. And once again, TLO is coming back in this game, 167 to 188 supply. And despite Grubby having a huge advantage in this game, he can't seem to actually finish off TLO, who is ever so resilient in these engagements. But finally, TLO has not the best position here. Just a few units being whittled down by that storm. These Zealots are going to be able to chase this down with Zealot Leg, killing a Ghost, killing a Marauder, and really Grubby, I think he will push forward here with his 200 maxed army against TLO's 115 army, landing the Vikings, not doing much because there are only 2 Colossus here. And this is going to be the final engagement. TLO producing enough units to actually force this to push back, meanwhile dropping the 4th base, being cleaned up by a couple of Zealots, but he did manage to get that Nexus. That is not enough damage though, because he really needs to do a lot more damage than this. More units being warped in here by Grubby. They will rejoin with this main army and push forward. 199 to 105 supply by Grubby. He has almost doubled TLO. TLO getting these bases 4 and 5 up and running once again. He has not even touched the gold base at this point. And that is never a position you want to be as a Terran player. You can see that Grubby is only producing a Nexus because he has been maxed for quite some time. And with this amount of gas, he can actually remax on Archons, and that will be actually huge. If he can manage to remax on, say, 10 Archons, those will just plow through the reinforcement bio ball of TLO and do a lot of damage. These Colossus walking up the ramp and being chased out right before that the bio can actually walk up to reinforce that, and that is again some small but crucial damage done by Grubby. TLO has now 30 harvesters compared to 83 from Grubby, and that might be just a tiny bit too many harvesters at this point. It really dwindles down his army count, but who cares at this point? It was 198 to 131 supply, and look at that money from Grubby. Remember, he has like 15, 16, 17, 18 warp gates. That is 9 Archons in a flash of a second, or a 19 Zealots or Stalkers or whatever you choose to produce. And that is just nice EMP on the small group of units. Huge nuke gonna go down for TLO, but Grubby knows that this is the only way that TLO can actually come back in this game. So he decides to just fall back, storm this army, preventing TLO from actually moving forward. That nuke was forced to cancel, and really that was a great decision by both players. TLO needs to do something to actually come back in this game. If he nukes this army, he might have a chance to come back. And Grubby knows that this is the only way TLO can actually come back in this game, so playing it very safe and pulling back that army. Those 4 Zealots are just going to suicide themselves, enabling the storm to go down, but really fast reaction time by TLO pulling all his army back. Meanwhile, Grubby is going to be engaging that 4th base once again, forcing it to lift off, preventing any kind of mining. Look at that mineral intake by TLO. He is so starved at this point, and Grubby has 5,000 minerals and 5,000 gas, 6,000 minerals, and this is just going to be game. I think he can actually just finish this off straight up without even needing to reinforce at this point. And still Grubby is maxed. TLO is running down to 86 supply. There's the GG, and we are going into game 5. The series is now tied up 2-2, so tune in for that.